Well, we're very happy to be here, but we're not just happy to be here. We're here to compete. We want to do everything we can to try to come out of here with a chance to go to Omaha. But we also know we're playing one of the elite teams in the country, so we're going to have to be on top of our game. But we're going to enjoy the heck out of it and go out there and see what we can do.
You have a question? Raise your hand. Start your right, Alan.
Is there a mic?
I don't think so.
Well, Florida's already announced, so you're not just starting pitchers this weekend. You know yet?
We'll go with Hicks tomorrow. He's been tremendous lately. He's pitching with a lot of confidence. He has very good stuff, very good command, and his presence out there on the mound has inspired a lot of confidence in the entire dugout. So we'll go with Hicks tomorrow.
Okay.
So I want to just ask you about last year. Obviously, the season ended in the SEC tournament against Florida. What do you remember about that feeling after losing, and what does it mean to you to have an opportunity to go back out there and potentially end their season for a change?
Well, we deleted that file from our memories, so it's all about right now. I mean, with all due respect, it's all about right now. Last season motivated our guys very much. It started last summer. That's been well documented, but we're here in the now.
Alan?
Will, you didn't get to play in that Florida series in April. You've got a former teammate on the other side starting this weekend. How much does that mean to you to maybe go against him for a trip to Omaha?
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'll be happy to see Hurston, but when we play the game, you try and tune out any outside noise and try and not play emotional, just play with emotion and just focus on one pitch at a time. So I'll try and tune it out during the game, but it'll be good to see him.
Nice.
Mike?
Nice. I've heard that expression before.
For either of you, Will and James. I know Coach just mentioned you guys are focused on the now, but every day you guys show up to the ballpark, you see all those numbers in the outfield, the regionals, the Omaha appearances. To be back into this point, and even though you guys are focused on the now, how much does that motivate you, knowing the history of this program, knowing that there's so many fans that look forward to this time of the year, and you guys are here now?
You got it.
Yeah, it definitely is motivating knowing that this is a very storied program and a program that's been here before. But really, it's just a team that doesn't want to be done yet. We come to work every day, and we just want to keep playing every day. So we're just focusing on what we can do each day to keep going.
Coach, your team's ability to, take strikes, knowledge of the strike zone, is that something that's just innate, been hammered down over time? Or?
Well, it's a philosophy that we believe in big time in our program. Our hitting coach, Monty Lee, has done a really nice job from day one, just stressing that as part of our identity, part of our foundation. But you also have to have the hitters that can carry it out. The greatest philosophies and the greatest theories on hitting and approach aren't any good if you don't have the right hitters. And we have the right hitters that can carry out a very disciplined approach.
How do you sense Ethan coming back to his home state, and positive, negative, or could he be too juiced up, or how do you view that?
No,
those emotions?
it's all positive. He's very happy to be back in Florida, as is Gavin Casas. But it's all positive. Look, we're playing for a chance to go to Omaha. There's no negatives. We're going to have fun. We're going to enjoy this. We're going to play loose, and whatever happens from there happens.
So John in the back.
Will, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. For your first year in the program, what did you know, or what did you hear about Coach Kingston and how he handled himself just around the players in the dugout? And what have you seen from him over the course of the year in terms of, the camaraderie in there?
Yeah, I didn't know a whole lot. I just kind of watched South Carolina as a fan over the years. But Coach Kingston's really positive all the time, and I think he did a really good job with all the transfers and all the new guys that we have this year, just being embraced by the whole program and just setting a positive tone and really maintaining a steady presence through the whole season, through the ups and the downs.
And I would hope he'd answer that the same way if I wasn't sitting directly to his left.
Phil?
And Mark, when y'all played Florida in Columbia, they walked 26. What do you recall about the approach for that weekend and the approach for this weekend? The same?
Well, I don't anticipate them doing that again. I don't think you can count on that. It's an elite pitching staff that we have a lot of respect for. They're going to come after us. They've got probably 3 first-rounders in their weekend rotation. So we're going to have to earn what we get. There's no question about it. I'm guessing when in their scouting report meetings, they're saying we're going to attack them. We've got to throw strikes. And so, look, it's about knowing what move you make. It's about trying to anticipate what move your opponent will make, and then it's just a back and forth strategy. But at the end of the day, it's going to be about pitchers making pitches, hitters having good approaches, and then see what happens.
James, obviously, you've been making some pretty big starts for like's been working for you lately, over the past few weeks? And just, like you said before, how exciting is it for you to have your name called on for, a Friday night start once again?
Yeah, it means a lot. I kind of went through a bit of a rough patch for a little bit there, and so I really just had to lean on Coach Parker and learn from him, and we broke down what I was doing wrong, and we came back with some mechanical changes that really helped. And then it feels so good to have the coaching staff still support me and stick with me, even though I was struggling there for a little bit. So it means the world to me.
James, you got 2 outings in that Florida series, 4 innings. Is there anything you remember about that lineup, and kind of how you maybe want to go about approaching it again?
They're a really good lineup. They've got very little flaws, but Coach Parker's one of the best in the business at coming up with a game plan on how to attack them. So I need to get with him, and it'll probably be similar to last time, but also there's probably going to be some changes. So I'll just get with him and figure it out.
John?
Yeah, Mark, it seems like these 2 teams statistically are fairly even, strong in the same ways. A, is that fair? And B, what does that mean in terms of how an outcome plays out? Is it more about just who plays better versus strengths and weaknesses, or how do you assess that?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. I think it's 2 very similar teams with similar identities. Probably power-driven first, but also we both have the ability to steal a base. I think both teams play good defense, especially now that we're kind of whole again. And I think we have elite pitchers on both sides. When we were healthy, we were in the top 5 in the country in ERA. So, and I feel like we're getting back to that. And I like the composition of our pitching staff right now. So it's going to be a 2 out of 3 series. It's a small sample size, so you hope things go your way, but it's going to be very competitive players and coaches just trying to figure out a way to get to Omaha. I heard somebody in the media say recently, it's 2 Omaha teams. It's unfortunate that they have to play before they get to Omaha, but that is what it is. And one of us is going to get to Omaha, and one of us is not. So I think it's going to be very entertaining baseball.
Just have 2 questions for you. Do you feel like there's a lot more balance in your lineup now that you have Wimmer and Will back at the top of the order? And then my second question for you is, obviously outside of just the wins, what are some of the biggest differences or changes you kind of seen this team make, or as they progress throughout the season?
Well, I think this team, as it's progressed, again, for 40 games, was issued very few challenges. And so sometimes you don't find out about yourself until you have to go through the adversity that we've gone through for a month. But you saw a team that didn't give up, didn't give in, and got better and put it together when it mattered most last weekend. We were as good as you could possibly play last weekend. And so I just think what we learned is that, when it gets tough, you don't give in. You just stay the course. You try to steer a very steady ship. And that if you believe in yourselves, if you know what you have is what it takes, it will come back at some point, as long as you don't do anything other than stay positive, like Will was talking about.
Time for a couple more, Mike.
Mark, so many new faces this year, new hitting coach. When adversity hit, could have been real easy for this team to crumble. They bounced back, obviously, last week with the good way the way they responded. What do you attest that to in terms of these guys being able to have that trust despite not having maybe as many years to be able to work with you guys?
Well, I think it's because of the people in that locker room. You've got a tremendous amount of very good people. You have a tremendous amount of very good baseball players, but you have a tremendous amount of very good people and leaders and kids that care about each other. And that was something we tried to establish from day one. Will talked about, embracing the new guys as our own. And from day one, we've talked about this a million times, but there's a new audience now, so maybe it's good to touch on it again. From day one, we all went out to Fort Jackson and did some really tough things together. And I think that built a bond among these guys. And I hear it all the time how much they love to be together at the field, away from the field. It's just a group of very good quality people. And at the end of the day, that's what you need.
Okay. Well, we kind of have a 2-part review. So my first part of the question is, obviously you were out for over a month, basically.
It's much longer than that.
Yeah, much longer than that.
Trust me, the coach knows.
So, how important was that time off important for you to just recoup mentally from the injury and all that? And then my second part of the question is, obviously you had a nice weekend last week, and so did Braylon. How comfortable do you feel like you're feeling at the plate heading into this weekend?
Yeah, the good thing when I was hurt was that Coach Kingston let me still travel with the team So I didn't feel like I was a recluse or separated, which doesn't always happen. So it was good to just feel like I was still part of the clubhouse and with the guys, even though I wasn't out on the field. And then, yeah, I'm feeling good at the plate. It was good for me to get those 3 at-bats against Charlotte a couple weeks ago, even though I re-aggravated it. I saw the ball a little bit, and then I got a few live at-bats in practice, and that was good. And then now I feel like I'm back up to speed after getting some more at-bats.
Any thoughts about the ballpark, how it plays, in terms of last week the wind was blowing in.
Right.
This week it might blow out and so forth and everything.
Well, I think the fans probably are hoping that it's blowing out because you have 2 very powerful teams, and that makes for exciting baseball. But we'll adjust. We'll adjust based on what we see. If the wind's blowing out, you might manage a game a little bit differently than if it's blowing in. So we'll just have to take it as it comes.